Hey guys, Jacqueline Fernandez back here at the Alert Center. Did you go out and vote for Omaha's primary election today? Well, if you didn't, you have from now until 8 p.m. tonight to get out there and vote in the primary. So we're going to discuss this. This is happening now, of course, throughout the greater Omaha area. Now, this is currently underway. And don't forget, though, getting out and voting also means those ballots have to be dropped off in ballot drop boxes by 8 o'clock, too. So that is the deadline to get your vote in to make sure that your vote counts in Omaha's primary election. And ironically, you have no excuse because today is also a First Alert 6 weather day. So those storms that we've been anticipating to come this evening are likely to come at 8 p.m., right? So you have from now until 8 p.m. to get those ballots dropped off, to get your vote in, and that will end the primary election window for you to get your ballots dropped off and in and your vote counted. And then that will begin the start of our 6 First Alert weather day with that crazy rain that we're anticipating and all that wind that we're anticipating as well. And I will get to our weather in a moment here, but just kind of want to touch on what we can expect for the primary as it's taking place right now. So starting out, I'd like to head over to our website, that's firstalert6.com, and you can see this is our story right here that we're discussing. So feel free as a web extra to click on this story and you can read all the latest and greatest there. In the meantime, I do have this story already pulled up. I wanted to show you who the candidates are. So in the running for mayor, from left to right, is community advocate Dr. Terry Brewer, Douglas County Treasurer John Ewing, RISE Policy and Advocacy Director Jasmine Harris, past Omaha Fire Chief and former state senator Mike McDonnell, and of course incumbent Mayor Gene Stothert. Now, the top 2 finishers in each race will advance from the primary to the general election, and that is on May 13th. So during today's primary, when you go out and vote, if you haven't already, you're going to essentially pick the top 2 finishers in the mayoral race, and then based off of the top 2 finishers, then you'll pick one of the 2 for the general election on May 13th. Now, Douglas County Election Commissioner Brian Cruz, we chat with him a lot here on First Alert 6. Now, he expects about 30% of voters to participate in today's primary, and that is really not a lot of people. So maybe you can prove him wrong. Maybe you can just, go out there and be one of the few that end up being one of the many who are going to vote in today's primary to pick your leader who you want to see run the city of Omaha for the next several years. Now, if you are kind of confused about what to do or where to go or where your polling place is, etc., you can always head here. This is the Douglas County Election Commission Nebraska website. It's votedouglascounty.ne.gov. Brian Cruz has his photo right here in the top right-hand corner as the election commissioner, so this is something good to know. Now, again, he has this all laid out here in announcements. So the 2025 City of Omaha elections are today, the primary April 1st. It is April Fool's Day, but this is no joke, guys. So you want to get out there. The polls opened at 8 and they run until 8 o'clock tonight. Again, the general election May 13th. So participate in the primary so perhaps your candidate will make it to the general election on May 13th and that you can go out and vote again, right? So something a bit different this year. I know several of you have been discussing this, but just the voter ID. So this was a new law that was signed by the governor, and this establishes voter identification requirements for elections in our state, okay? So the first time we were exposed to this was during the statewide primary election. That was last year. But keep in mind, today, special and statewide elections do require acceptable forms of ID. So we have this all laid out for you. Again, that's available at nebraska.gov, and it explains how to get your ID, what you need to do, your education materials, different dates for events, etc. So there's a lot of information on this website. And of course, Brian Cruz, always very helpful with all of the information he gives us here at First Alert 6 and letting us know what is up, right? So that is very cool. Now, I do have some what I'd like to call election fun facts for you. So this is something that I thought was kind of cool. So as far as City of Omaha voter registration is concerned, Republicans who are registered 96,634 Republicans, Democrats who are registered, 114,773. Libertarians clocking in at about 4,500. The Legalize Marijuana Now Party at 3,500. And about 75,000 of you are nonpartisans at this point. So that leaves a total of people registered to vote in the city of Omaha at 294,672. So, from what Brian Cruz is telling us here at First Alert 6, 30% of that number are going to be out and voting in the primary election today. But we want to try to get that 294,000 of you who are registered voters to get out and vote for the primary. Decide who you want your city leaders to be, decide who's going to be handling the city budgets, decide who you want to best represent you and your district, right? So something to take note of there. Now, as we do move along, I did mention that polls, of course, opened at 8 o'clock this morning. They do close at 8 p.m. tonight, so you want to make sure you get your vote out by 8 p.m. So polls close at 8, and then what happens at 8 p.m.? The polls close, and then that First Alert 6 weather day starts, okay? So let's take a live look outside here. This is a live look from our first national camera at the Missouri River. Gosh, just a gray day out there today, right? And this is a First Alert 6 weather day. Senior Chief Meteorologist Rusty Lord kind of giving us the rundown today for what we can expect. So those storm chances keep trending later and later. At this point, likely nothing until after 8 p.m., as I've been saying. But perhaps you saw a 20% chance of morning showers today. I felt a little droplets here and there when I was walking my dog Ollie in the Blackstone area, but nothing too crazy. So I'll have to brace myself for 8 o'clock when we may see something here in the Blackstone area after 8. Meantime, mostly cloudy and gray and windy out there, a high of 59. So the silver lining seems to be, at least it's not cold, right? So we'll take that. Now let's take a live look from our first national camera. This is a live look at the Woodman Life building right there, and you can kind of just take a look over the city. It doesn't look like anything crazy is happening out there, but another just kind of gray day for you. A live look now from our children's Nebraska cam. So you can see traffic flowing smoothly. Just, you know, I mean, it isn't even black and white. It's just this, like, you know, kind of depressing gray, but we will get through it. The good news is, as we go through tonight with that 100% chance of storms after 8 p.m. and isolated severe storms with large hail and wind gusts, that's the main threat in some areas, okay? So that's what we have to watch for some areas. This gray day, though, will eventually become sunny. So Wednesday, 20% chance of morning showers and then decreasing clouds, so that's positive. Thursday, mostly sunny with a high of 58. So we just have to get through today's First Alert weather day and kind of go from there. Now for the latest, I will leave this as a web extra for you, but you can always head to firstalert6.com and click on the First Alert 6 weather tab at the top left-hand side of our homepage, and that will take you to the First Alert weather day section, okay? So this is where you can kind of see the nitty-gritty, I like to say, the rain chances. You can go through, you know, hour by hour and kind of take a look at the wind gust forecast and where exactly the severe threat is going to be greatest. Will there be tornadic activity, etc. So this is kind of where you want to go as a web extra. And then, of course, for all your news, you can always head to our homepage, firstalert6.com, and we'll have all of your news available that our digital team is working on for you around the clock. Now, in the meantime, we hope that you will go out and vote, take advantage of today's primary election here in Omaha, so that perhaps your candidate will be on the electoral ballot when it's time to vote yet again in May. And until then, we will have all the details for you coming up in our broadcast at 3 o'clock with our Dave Zavolinsky. We'll see you then.